Hi, didn't hear what my thoughts for today, and it should be pretty obvious what my thoughts will be about. We'll be talking about, well, I'm recording this on Friday, you're seeing it on Monday, so for you it's last week's attack by Israel on Iran to destroy their nuclear program, it took out a lot of their leadership, and six scientists, I believe, were, say that 20 times real fast, six scientists were eliminated, and equally, especially important, their missile launching capabilities, which I'll talk about in a second. A lot to cover, but first of all, one important piece of business. I owe Donald Trump a big apology. I want to apologize now. I just did a vlog, the one just before this one. It was part of that vlog. I've done it in the past, criticizing for Donald Trump, saying that he's all talk, that he never does anything, and is preventing Israel from doing things. Israel wants to has to deal with Iran, wants to attack, and Trump is holding him back, and that Netanyahu will, is faced with whether to go against the United States and independently attack. All those things I said, and I have to take them all back. I take them all back. I was wrong. I was obviously wrong. Not just wrong, but egregiously, horribly, terribly wrong. So I don't know if Trump is not watching my channel. He should be, as everybody should, and hopefully someday everybody will. One day I'll have a bigger audience than Joe Rogan. But for now, I do want to apologize. And when I'm wrong, when I'm clearly proven wrong, I'm always happy to admit it. And now on to today's subject. Now, first of all, everybody, I mentioned the destruction of the missiles. That was one. It was a wide-ranging attack. Israel attacked a number of assets and sites, and as Netanyahu announced, he made a statement. This is just the beginning. They're just getting started. So as you're watching this on Monday, I assume this is still going on. It hasn't stopped as I'm reporting this on Friday morning, Tennessee time, and I just it's going to go on, and the talk has been about, regional war and widening the war and attacking. Well, first of all, Rubio already, Secretary of State Rubio already warned the Iranians that, basically, you saw what Israel did. Do you want us to join them? So do not attack any American assets. What I wish he would have said is, if any American is killed, they did say that, or an American is harmed, but I wish he would have instead including any Americans in Israel. So the Israelis, they're doing a pretty complete job, and they've been planning this for a while. And this gets me to what I'm talking about today, because there's a political reporter, Mark Halperin, one of the best from what I've seen. He has a website called the number 2 WAY. .com. Well, that's not. It's 2WAY. It's a YouTube channel, and I urge everybody to watch it. He does a 1-hour show every day. I don't have time to watch the whole thing, but they do show excerpts. Definitely worth watching. And the reason I mention him is because he has talked about, I suspect he might be a Democrat. I don't know if he's a Democrat or Republican. That's how good he is. You don't know what party he really is. I suspect that he's a moderate Democrat, but he's very fair, very fair. And he said that he lost a lot of friends over Donald Trump because he says people always underestimate him, but he says whenever he was be talking to one of his, former friends now, and they would say, "But this Trump is a real idiot. Look how this do." And Trump and Halperin say, "I hate to tell you, Trump is smarter than you are. Trump is smarter than you are." And he says, Trump this joke about multi-dimensional chess or whatever. He says, when you talk to him, you could see he's always several moves ahead. And he's lost friends over that. And the reason I bring that up, and Mark Halperin, is because Chris Murphy, he's a senator from, I believe, Connecticut, and he said, you get the comments from all the politicians, and you have so far the Republicans all very supportive, and the Democrats, with one exception, John Fetterman, senator from Pennsylvania, strongly supporting Israel and urging more support for it, to give Israel everything they need to finish the job. But you have a lot of Democrats, maybe most, attacking Israel for doing us a favor, as other people have said. Iran is a threat to us. They are a threat to the whole Western world. They were building, not just pursuing nukes, but building missiles that could carry them all the way to the United States. And as I've said, you don't even have to do that. Sneak one onto a fishing boat and just explode it in San Francisco Bay or New York Harbor, in the East River. Explode one in the Hudson River. I used to live in New York. You destroy a big part of not just New York, but New Jersey. And even speaking as a New Yorker, even I would miss New Jersey, and But anyways, that's another story. The point, I'm just joking there. I actually have friends in New Jersey, a good close friend in New Jersey, and I think relatives. Anyway, getting back to Trump and how smart he is, this Chris Murphy, he said, well, he was one of the ones criticizing Israel and said, how could they do this? How could they do this horrible attack when Trump was busy, was in the midst of negotiating with the Iranians. He was negotiating with them. How could Israel do this? And this is where we get to what I think is really, really brilliant. And I have to put up this headline from the New York Post, and then I'll explain how brilliant this is, but this will be a big help, this headline. So Trump tells the Post, I always knew the date for Israel attack on Iran. Okay, he always knew the date. He knew not just that this attack was going to happen, but he knew when. So obviously, he was on the same page as Netanyahu. The people are saying, I guess he had the talking head saying, well, did Trump know? Did Israel surprise? Was it a surprise right in the middle of these negotiations? And so on and so forth. What would relations be now between us and Israel? And you saw that Trump always knew the date, and that's what I'm saying. Everything that we saw, it's really brilliant. If I'm right about this, I've heard no confirmation, but it's the only thing that makes sense to me is that everything that we saw for the past few days was planned. Now, one of the things that Trump said, he said, I gave the Iranians 60 days to negotiate, and this is day 61, the day of the attack. So they, I'm one of these people, maybe most people forgot about the 60-day deadline. But anyways, there's no doubt in my mind that because Trump knew the date, that Trump and Netanyahu worked this out. They agreed, so full backing of the United States. And Trump has since announced that if Israel is attacked, we will give them everything they need to defend themselves. So we're already doing that. We're already sending Patriot missiles and I think something else. Anyways, and I'm sure helping to shoot down these drones. And very, very important, because you had all these, Captain Renault statements from, say, the Saudis, Israel should not have done this attack, whatever. But they... Israel, I think they were allowed to use the airspace of these things, but they have been helping, as I understand it. These drones, they had to fly over, say, Jordan. They had to fly over, I don't know if Syria is in any position to help, but everybody knows that secretly they have to say certain things, as I said, round up the usual suspects, but in their hearts, privately, they are applauding what Israel is doing and not doing anything to really stop them. They're very muted criticism. So we get back to what I think happened now is Trump, because these negotiations are going on, and if Trump knew the date, he said, this is what we'll do. I will set the next negotiation for some time after this agreed date to attack. And this is the really brilliant part, if I'm right about this, and I think I am, but that's what we have a comment section for. I think he said, and I will start making statements that I'm doing these negotiations are doing well, and I don't think Israel should attack. And we will start planting leaks in the press, planting stories about disagreements between us, and that we don't want, and that Israel wants to attack, but I'm holding them back because I'm holding Israel, I'm holding you back, Bibi, because of these negotiations. And what that will do is that will plant in the mind of the Iranians. They say, well, yeah, Israel is making all these noises and statements about attacking Iran, but we can't imagine, number one, they can't imagine it happening, but they say definitely Israel would not do that. They're not going to attack today, meaning Thursday night, Friday morning, if they know, if Trump has said he's scheduling a negotiation on Sunday. Trump will not let Netanyahu will not let Israel attack Iran when he has these negotiations scheduled. And it was all a ruse, and a brilliant one, I think. I think that he was saying that that will lull them into a false sense of security. They will sit on their hands waiting for these negotiations and planning and to try to string us along, the United States again, string us all along, and playing their usual games to draw out the negotiations while they build up their defenses and continue weaponizing, enriching and weaponizing uranium. And, had me fooled, and obviously had the Iranians fooled. They were caught completely by surprise. They were waiting, nothing's going to happen before Sunday when these negotiations happen, and maybe never, because Trump we'll just rope-a-dope him again, we'll just give a little bit, so Trump will schedule another negotiation. Israel will just be talking, but Trump will pressure them, prevent the Israelis from attacking. And boy, did that turn out to be wrong. But that, to me, is a brilliant plan. And to give you another idea how brilliant they are, I mentioned that several of the military, the head of the Revolutionary Guard is dead now, and that's another headline. I'm not going to put it up, but Trump, he casually mentioned all the hardliners who would not negotiate with me. They're all dead now. So, and he's saying, I still want to negotiate. We're scheduled for Sunday. You're welcome to show up, and I urge you to do that. To negotiate before there is any further damage, and before there's even more destruction, before you lose everything. I forget the exact headline. So we'll see what happens. But the other brilliant part I wanted to get to besides smuggling all the drones and weapons in to destroy all, say, the missile launchers from within Iran without risking any Israeli planes. So when the Israelis got there, they had already destroyed a lot of their air defenses. Now Iran is completely defenseless. And I'll throw this in here because first of all, as I was going to say, that a lot of the military leadership, several military officials, like the head of the IRGC, they were all eliminated. Now, I thought these were separate, found out where they are and attacked them. No, they were all in one place. In Israel, they're not saying what they did so far. Maybe they will later, but they did something that tricked them, the Iranian, these military leaders, into gathering all in one place in their headquarters, where they're secure, supposedly secure, not very secure as it turned out, location, and got them all in one place and eliminated them all at once. So that's really brilliant. But there was another, I read, keeping you up to date on this, maybe this will be the last item for today, which is that all this stories about well, Israel doesn't have busters. They can't get all the way down to the enrichment facility, for instance, is way, way down. It's underneath a mountain. I'm saying the Israelis can't get to that, so they can't destroy it. And I've said in the past, well, number one, okay, the facility is way underground. Where's the entrance? So you destroy the entrances, they can't get to them. And the Israelis, there's something similar to that, according to what I read, going on. Well, number one, if Iran has no air defenses, they have all the time in the world to send bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. They don't need one bunker buster. They don't have to do it all at once. And Netanyahu, he announced, he said, we'll keep going as long as it takes to eliminate their program completely. But getting back to the lack of bunker busters, what I read, they are already, I think Fodro is the one that's underground. They have the Natanz, that's completely destroyed. And from where I read, not just the building on the ground, but they had several floors, levels of centrifuges, and those have all been destroyed. Those things are delicate, those centrifuges. But regarding, I believe it's Fodro, but the one under the mountain that Israel has been attacking it, and what they've been doing has caused a cave-in. Has caused the roof to cave in way underground and destroyed that facility completely. So, or a lot of it. I don't remember exactly how much, but what can I say? Go on the internet, look for stories. I always suggest there's two English language Israeli papers that I read: Jerusalem Post, JPost.com, and Times of Israel, which is the Times of Israel, and their website is simply Times of Israel, all one word, timesofisrael.com, and you can get these updates in English about what's going on directly from the Israeli papers, and they're very good. They're very good. Obviously, they know what's going on in their own country, hopefully before the rest of the world knows. So that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Your comments always welcome in the comments section below the video. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. Once again, Donald Trump, I apologize. I was completely wrong. You are a much stronger person. I said you were all talk, as the Texans say, all hat, no cattle, that you were just talking, that you would never, and even now, we're not attacking, unless, I take him at his word now. Like I said, I was wrong, that if an American is harmed, at least outside of Israel, I would like it to include Israel, but the Israelis, I take him at his word that then we would start attacking Iran. I know if they attack our soldiers stationed in Iraq or whatever, we have 40,000 American soldiers, I think, and not counting civilians stationed all over the Middle East. A lot of them, the dependents, have all been authorized to go to return to the United States. Many of them have, most all, I don't know. But I was wrong. Simply that. I was wrong. You are a much stronger president than I thought. And I know because you said 60 days, you gave them 60 days, and on day 61, we had this attack from Israel. So that's a message to Putin. I guess I'll end on this, because he is, I understand from that he has told Putin, or he will, that if he doesn't, now it's obvious, Mr. Putin, you saw what happened to Iran when Iran would not negotiate. I gave them time, they wouldn't do it. You saw what happened, and now it's your turn. We're not going to attack Russia, but he said, I will increase the sanctions. I will put sanctions on anybody who buys oil from you. You can't sell your oil, which, as many people have said, Russia is basically a gas station with nukes. They have nothing else. So if they can't sell oil, their ability to pay for the Ukraine war, it just goes down the toilet. They said, but the scuttlebutt that I've heard is that, heard and read, mostly heard, that Trump would say, okay, I'm going to increase the sanctions that are already hurting you. You will not be able to sell your oil, and we will give more weapons to Ukraine and make life very difficult for you. So time will tell on that matter. But if I were, and the same thing with China's plans, their hope, their fantasy, their dream of invading Taiwan and absorbing it into into China. Well, that's into mainland China, I'll say, to humor them, because they believe Taiwan already, it's a rebel province. They believe it's already part of China, which historically it never was, by the way. That's another story. But if Trump says that's not going to happen, China better really think twice about that, because now we have a president we know who means what he says. When he says something, he means what he says. And I mean what I say when I say that I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.